Hi there. Welcome. My name is Angel Rivera. I'm the itinerant librarian. Today I'm going to be doing a video response. Hey, my first video response ever. For the tag Cliche Tarot Reader. This is a response to Astro Lady Tarot, who originated the tag. Let's see what the prompts are. I'll just go over the prompts and talk a little bit and go from there. The first prompt is having more than one version of a deck. Based on this, barely. The only deck I have multiple versions of is a Tarot de Marseille. Let me reach over and get those. I have the first Tarot de Marseille that I ever used, and I also have the Spanish Tarot published by Fournier, which is a Marseille as well. Other than that, I don't really have multiple versions of the same thing. And the main reason I have these two is that both of them were gifts. So I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick. Here is my original tarot, the Tarot de Marseille. Let's just show some cards. Here's the Two of Coins. This is a Convert facsimile, basically. Here's the Two of Cups. The Six of Wands. Let me see if I can find a major. Well, here's the King of Coins. If you've seen a Marseille deck, you've probably seen this one. One of the things I do like about this particular deck, it's the back. There it is. I really like the back on that one. But other than that, it's a fairly basic Marseille deck. My other deck is the Spanish Tarot, Tarot Español, published by Fournier. And same thing, let me show a couple of cards. This one I haven't used, so it's still in order. So here's the Fool on that one. The Magician. Let me pull a few minor cards. Here's the Six of Coins, for example. Here's the Page of Coins, or Pentacles. And here is the backing on that one. A little bit more basic. By the way, the decks are different in size. You can see there, one's bigger than the other. Between the two, I like the Spanish Tarot a lot better. So when I start really studying Marseille in depth, which I intend to do someday, this is probably the deck I'm going to be using more. I just happen to like the coloring a little bit better. So yes, in fact, for learning Marseille, which I would like to do someday, learn Marseille and using pip decks, which is something right now that I'm not a big fan of. I do have a couple of books already lined up, so I can go ahead and start learning how to do that and go over the numerology and things like that that usually go with using a Marseille deck. So yes, I'm not going to let those pips be the boss of me. At least not anytime soon. I put this away and move to the next thing. Backup decks. Yes, I do have backup decks. If I really like a deck, it is likely that I will try to get a backup of it. So if you're selling a deck and I really happen to like it, you can count that I might buy 2 copies of it. Also, if I really like a deck and I get the feel that it might go out of print, I try to get a backup copy. I'm going to show you a couple of decks that I have backed up. These are not all of them, just a couple as examples. The one that I'm happy to have backed up, one of them is the Vampire's Tarot of the Eternal Night. I'll go ahead and show a couple of cards from that. I use this one, so they're not in order. This is the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups, Four of Swords, the High Priestess, one of my favorite depictions of the High Priestess, and the Justice card, another favorite of mine. There we go. This is the backing of the card deck. All these decks that I'm talking about are reviewed on my blog, so you can feel free to check it out and have a look at them. If people are interested, I could turn some of those reviews into videos and go from there. Another deck that I have backed up is the Santa Muerte. And if you look closely, you can see the box is kind of scuffed because I do use this one quite a bit. You show a couple of cards from that. Here's the World. Very nice. Good. The Eight of Pentacles. The Hangman. Again, Justice, and this is definitely probably my another favorite depiction of Justice, the Justice from Santa Muerte. That's the back of that one. By the way, this is some of the boxes that Los Scarabeo makes, and I do like this one. Nice, solid. Lid comes off. Deck and book. Toss it in your bag. You're good to go. Isn't that cool? Another deck that I have backed up is the Druidcraft Tarot. Now, this was an interesting situation. I originally bought the Druidcraft that comes in the bigger boxes about this size, and it comes with a book that's about this size too, and the deck. And then one fine day later on, I went to Half Price Books, and they had the set with this little box and the smaller companion book in a bundle. And by a bundle, I mean they had this set, and they had a copy of the big book as well. So I got the small book, the big book, and the deck in that package. And I think it was, I don't remember how much it was. But I mean, they were practically begging me to buy the thing because it was really cheap. Here's the price tag. Yeah, it was $9 and some change to get that deck, the little booklet, and the kit, and then it had a copy of the big original book as well. Yeah, so at that point, they were just saying, just buy the darn thing, guys, so, which I did. I later found out on a side note, inside the big book, whoever owned it before me apparently bought the big book separate to go with the deck, so, you know, more bonus for me. Here are some of the cards from the Druidcraft. This is the Four of Swords. The Seven of Swords. Six of Wands. Here's the King of Cups. I will admit, I am not somebody who knows a whole lot about Celtic mythology and things like that, but when I started using this deck a couple of months ago, wow, I really liked using this one, and I felt really connected to it. So this is one that I'm planning on getting back to and studying a little bit more in depth, but it is really a beautiful deck. And those are some of the decks that I have backups of. There we go. Put that to the side. Do I have tarot tattoos? Oh, that's easy. Nope, I don't have any. In fact, I don't have any tattoos, period. Tarot or otherwise. At one point, for fun, a little while back, I wrote about what I would get if I were to get a literary themed tattoo. It was kind of a thing going around with some librarian blogs for a while. So I wrote that one. So who knows, maybe I'll write a blog post about what would I get if I got a tarot tattoo, so stay tuned. On drinking tea, that's the next cliche. I drink tea, but I drink it rarely. Maybe just unsweet iced tea. Yeah, I know that makes me a bad tea drinker because everybody drinks the sweet tea that basically they pour the gallon of sugar in the tea. But anyhow, a little bit of unsweet iced tea, or I drink hot tea if it's the cold season. Otherwise, I'm really a coffee drinker. I've been drinking coffee since I can remember. I have a theory that they put it in my formula when I was a baby. That's how long I've been drinking coffee. I do keep a water bottle or a glass of water handy because hydration is important. In fact, here's my water bottle right now. Excuse me. In addition, I also do drink alcohol. Very much in moderation, by the way. Especially wine. And lately I've been discovering whiskey. So you could see any of those beverages I've mentioned so far in a video, mainly the water. On a side note, if you want to check out something fun on my blog, I did write a post on similarities between tarot people and whiskey enthusiasts, so don't miss that one. I might turn that into a video later on also. Next cliche on owning and using crystals. Not really. I don't really collect crystals. I do have a small bloodstone, which is about that size, and it's in the bag with another one of my vampire decks. I have about 3 or 4 vampire tarot decks, so that little bloodstone's sitting with my other deck, vampire deck, right now. So, but other than that, I don't really collect crystals. I do appreciate crystals very much, but they're not something that I collect or use at this time. Having a lot of books on tarot. Well, come on, people. I'm a librarian. Of course, I'm going to have a lot of books. And I'm also an avid reader, and I'm also a book reviewer. So yes, I'm going to have a lot of books. And tarot is an area that I think does require you to have books. Recently, some videos, I don't remember. I wish I remember the person, but anyhow, they were responding to some trend on TikTok, apparently saying that you don't need books to do your craft or anything like that, which I think is insane. But you know, as I often say, not my circus, not my monkeys. In my case, yes, I do have quite a few books on tarot, both in print and as ebooks. So I have a lot of ebook files of tarot books. I do have a lot of. I've read a good amount of tarot books, right? But I do have many, many more books to read ahead of me, which I think is a good thing. If anything else, it'll keep me busy. I appreciate that. In addition, I'm a book reviewer, as I mentioned, so I often get advanced review copies of books, including tarot books and books about cartomancy. So yes, I definitely fit that cliche. Let me show you a couple of books that I've read that I think are pretty good, that I have handy. One of them that helped me out when I was starting out was Tarot Plain and Simple by Anthony Lewis. This is it. And it really is plain and simple. This is just the basics of tarot, card meanings, things like that. It's very good as a reference book, so I keep this nearby. Also, recently I read The Creative Tarot, A Modern Guide to an Inspired Life by Jessica Crispin. I really enjoyed this one, and I do recommend it. And on my desk, I keep this little guy, The Illustrated Guide to Tarot by Jane Lyle. And it's another basic reference book. To be honest, it came with the Marseille deck, the white backing Marseille I just showed you. But the interesting thing about this book is a lot of the illustrations are actually for Rider-Waite Smith cards rather than Marseille. So, But the information aside from that is really good, so I keep it handy when I need to look up something real quick and I don't have another book handy, especially if I'm using a deck that month that doesn't have a companion book with it, and that's the one that I quickly jump to look something up if I need to. Okay, the next cliche, having a tarot journal. Yes, I have tarot journals. I keep and use tarot journals. I record daily card pulls, spreads I try out, including deck interviews, and I keep other cartomancy notes in it. I do find the process helpful, and I'm sure I can probably do a lot more with my tarot journals than I'm doing now. So, but I'm working on that. For tarot journaling, I use nice notebooks, but cheap. Okay. I'm on a librarian salary here. Okay, so you know, I gotta save my pennies. So when bookstores like Barnes and Noble or Half Price put journal notebooks on clearance, I go buy 2 or 3, and they can be all kinds of things. Here's a couple of them. This is the one I just finished filling up last month. It's a basic journal with a little magnetic, right, clasp to it. This is the one I'm using this month. Same style, different image, and basically I do the same. One of the things I do for it, I write in a tarot blessing for my journal, and then I just use it for things like, so I send my card pulls. Let me see if I can find a spread and show people. Here's a deck interview spread I did, for example, with the notes, that kind of thing. So yes, I do use tarot journals quite a bit. Next cliche, love to shuffle cards casually. I do like to shuffle cards casually, but I don't do it in any consistent way. It's probably because I don't keep a deck handy on my desk at all times. But if I did, I probably would be shuffling them a little bit more. Owning fairy lights is the next cliche. Where I come from, those are called Christmas lights, people. And in our house, they come out under the Christmas time, and that's it. Otherwise, no, I don't have any fairy lights. Owning and using candles. We have candles in the house. They're mainly that scented kind, you know, the nice ones that make the house smell pretty. And that's what we buy them for. I don't do candle rituals or such at this time. And the other kind of candle we keep in the house are 2 or 3 of those white basic candles you keep in case the power goes out. Having a designated card space. Unfortunately enough, I have a workstation slash small home office at home. It's on the small side, but it's mine. It's my space. I do my readings on this desk. I do my writing on this desk. I use my laptop, which is sitting nearby here on my desk. It's a multi-use space for me, and I keep some of my personal books behind me. A lot of those are mostly what's behind me. It's my personal graphic novel collection. That's another video for another time. And those are the basic cliches that came with the initial video. Prompts from other people that I've seen. I've seen the prompt of the cliche rather of apologizing when you're making a video for the noise, the cars, the thunder, the dog, the fireworks, etc. Well, I haven't been making videos that long, so I can't make too many apologies other than the fact that I'm doing this on my phone. I'm not a video professional. This is not going to be edited very well. I'm still learning how to do this darn thing. So bear with me. There's my apology in advance. But other than that, no real apologies here. On whether people touch your decks or not. Personally, I have no problem with people touch my decks. Especially if they get curious and they want to touch the cards a little bit, that's okay. If I'm reading for someone, I do the shuffling. I may let them cut the deck, lay a hand on the card to put a little bit of their energy in it. That's cool. If people want to see a card or two closer, I'm usually okay with that. With the pandemic, I do offer hand sanitizer to people before they touch the cards because, you know, you gotta be cautious. But for me overall, allowing a little touching helps demystify a little, which I think is a good thing. Also, where I live, it's a lot of people here are very conservative, and you know, tarot is that thing we don't talk about kind of thing. So when somebody gets curious and they want to, you know, they've never seen a deck before, yeah, I'm perfectly okay letting them touch it a little bit so they, you know, they can see, no, it's not the tool of the devil. You're not going to burn in hell or anything like that. Let me see. Working with deities, not quite. But I'm going to say that I am inquiring / curious about working with deities. I will admit to having felt a moving experience or two, but that's another story for another time. Or maybe something I work up to. Cats, having cats. Yes, we have one cat in the house. Her name is Cleo. She's not here right now. We used to have 2 cats, but Isis, the elder cat, recently crossed a rainbow bridge, so we may be looking. We're at the stage now where we're looking for maybe a second cat, a kitten, or a young cat. So we'll see how that goes. Having bags and claws. Yes, I have both. My bags and claws are simple and cheap. The claws are plain and basic. To be honest, very often I just buy odd cuts of cloth at the craft store or something like that look pretty, and that's what I use to put my cards on. Let me see where my claws are at. Put this over here. So yes, here's a spare bag. That's kind of the baggies I use to put a deck in. If a deck fits in it, that's what I get. No more than a couple of bucks during the holidays. Claws. Here's one of the claws I use often. This does unfold a little bit bigger, just enough to lay a spread on it. One of my favorite designs. Here's one I recently got. Let me just flip it over. There we go. Whoop. This one unfolds a little bit bigger. So yes, I do keep bags, I do keep claws, but nothing fancy about them. And finally, do you carry a deck in a backpack or a purse? Well, I do carry a deck in my backpack when I go back and forth to work. And it's carried in its own bag. This is the bag with the bundle. And by that I mean I will carry the deck I'm using that month. In this case, I'm carrying the Omega Land Tarot. This is what I'm doing for my daily readings this month. And I usually have a cloth to put them on. In this case, this is the cloth that's going in the back this month. There we go. I also like this bag about this size because in addition to the deck and the cloth, I can also carry a companion book. So if it's one of those decks that comes with a book that's about, I don't have one here, but you know the ones I'm talking about, like Llewellyn, those books that come in that big box about this size. Yeah, that book usually fits in this bag. So I can carry the companion book, the cloth, and the deck at that time. If I'm carrying a deck in the big bag, I don't always put it in a little bag. But if the deck has its bag already, then that little baggie goes in the big baggie. And that's pretty much it. Am I a cliche tarot reader? Yes, I guess I am. Thank you folks for listening and putting up with me for a little bit. I appreciate that. If you like the video, you know the usual drill. Like it, subscribe to the channel, that kind of thing. Tell your friends. You know, those kind of things. That always helps. You're free to please leave comments. That's perfectly cool. I do try to reply to those. So again, thank you. And in the words of Walter Mercado, much peace and much love. Mucha paz. Mucho amor. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a nice day.